Hey everyone, welcome to Get Inspired, Stay Inspired. Today we are talking about food addiction and we have Lorena Rodriguez here with us.
Hi, everybody. Nice to see you again.
Lorena is a client of Inspire Weight Loss for a little bit here, pretty while here, and she's lost 59 pounds. And she has an amazing story that you can hear and watch at another segment that we recorded. But today, she was actually in my office one day and we started talking about foods and food addiction. And I think it was Lorena, I'm not really sure. We're like, we should do a video on food addiction because it's a major thing in our society. It has been for a long time. And so here we are. It's a very important topic. We see it every single day in our office because Inspire weight loss programs, the weight loss program also detoxes, and we walk our clients through detoxing. And I'm telling you that we've had some really tough cases where, especially with sugar addiction, we've had to really hold people's hand and help them detox. It's a thing, Lorena. So Lorena, just share. I feel like I walked through school with you.
You did.
Yes. Lorena is in her last year of med school, right?
Yes.
Last year of med school, she's about to start her residency. So excited. I can't wait for her to have her practice so I can be a patient. That's what I told her.
Oh, that would be an honor.
Yeah. So Lorena, again, thanks for being here. Let's talk about this topic. This topic
Absolutely.
I have some, I like to share statistics because I'm a numbers girl.
I like that too.
And then we can get into your findings, you know, and from as a student, you know, share your knowledge with us. Let me just read a couple of things here. Former commissioner of the FDA said that there are more than 70 million food addicted adults in the United States. This is 2020. 70 million.
It's a real pandemic, people. Like, yeah. We got COVID and we got food addiction that's been going on for far longer than that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Also, it says here about 50% of the obese, 30% of those overweight, and 20% of those who are considered healthy are actually addicted to a specific food, a specific food combination, or volume of food. Mm-hmm. So it's not like, you know, food addiction or sugar addiction, or it's like crunchiness. It's like, oh, have you heard of like sweet and spicy together, you know, food combinations, right?
I was addicted to ice cream myself. I can tell you that.
Oh yeah, my husband was too. And then the last one here says an estimated 400,000 adult deaths each year in the United States are associated with obesity. 400,000. Total costs, which include medical costs and days lost from work because of illness, disability, premature death from obesity, is an estimated of $117 billion. 400,000 deaths, $117 billion because of total costs of medical costs, days lost of work, because of illnesses, disability, premature death. That's huge, isn't it?
You know how much I could do with that money?
Especially as a med student, right?
I could pay my debt, my student loans. I could go on vacation multiple times. Yeah, no, it's more than just a food addiction. It's literally your entire life that's getting affected by this. And just to start off, like, I like to like define everything because like it makes more sense in my head. Yeah. But like addiction, for example, if you look it up, is literally like a physically and mentally dependence on something, whether it is a substance or an actual thing or an activity or food itself, you know? So it could happen with a lot of things, but like you said, food itself, like that's a big one. And that's why like a lot of research is being done on this right now. And I just happened to be reading one day, And I came across this article that pretty much explained how food itself, like this junk food that we tend to eat, that tastes good, that we're addicted to, literally activates the same areas of the brain and the same receptors that drugs, like illicit drugs like cocaine, are activating. Yep. That tells you a whole bunch right there. But just to like kind of explain it a little more and break it down a little more, in the article they were explaining how when you eat this thing that tastes so good or feels good and makes you feel good, so it will activate your brain, the reward center of your brain, just like illicit drugs do. And then that reward center will be kind of like flooded with like your happy substance, which in this case is called dopamine. Right. So that reward center that's getting activated with this happy substance is feeling good. So you're feeling good, right? In the other aspect of things, as that reward center is getting activated, the inhibition center that will tell you, no, don't do it, don't eat that donut, you know, is getting pretty much downregulated, is getting turned off in a sense. So you no longer had that counter action telling you like, hey, you shouldn't really eat this, or like having that logic, with how I call it, like that voice telling you that you shouldn't do that, right?
You have the little Marthas here.
Yeah, I always think of my little angel. And yeah, exactly.
And it was like, don't eat it.
So pretty much.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, but the interesting part of it is that this is the exact same thing that happened with substance use disorders. You're getting dependent on the substance because while you're on the high, it makes you feel really good. So your brain see the substance as something that you want to use often, that is making you happy, that is, you know, giving you that high. So, you know, that right there alone, it's just horrible for you. Like you could tell that it's not doing, and I'm trying to find the words, but it's not the fact that it's activating the same areas that illicit drugs are activating. It tells you how unhealthy that habit is, if that makes sense.
And how powerful.
And powerful itself, correct.
How powerful, because I mean, when I tell you, you know, there very well maybe more food addicted people in society than even drugs, because it's a thing, it's a daily thing. That's what I mean. We and I mean, when you look at the obesity rates, you can tell we have a problem. There's a problem in our society with that. And when I tell you, we always talk about sugar, but sugar is a big one, but also carbs is another one.
Oh yeah. I mean, carbs are sugars.
Carbs are sugar, you know, and people, you will be so surprised, or maybe not, how many people walk into through the doors and have no idea what the difference between sugar, carbs, proteins, what the different macros are. They have no idea, you know.
Yeah.
And we educate them here. So by the time that they're done with their program here, they have so much more awareness.
Absolutely.
So much more awareness of what they've been eating and what they stopped. And
what they look for in those labels.
Yeah, what to look for in the labels. You know, they've gone through the detox. Now their body's not asking for this anymore. Like the body's not asking for that sugar anymore. I know you have a story on that as well, right, Lorena?
Yeah. So like, for example, and I'll go into a little bit of tolerance and then I'll go back into that. But when we are activating this reward center so often with the substance that we're dependent on, eventually your reward center start wanting more. So, you know, like, it's kind of like when you make money and you go buy stuff, if you get more money, you want to buy more stuff, same idea. Yeah. So what happens is that after all this like happy substance stuff, I mean, it's getting released into their brain, it gets to a point in which your brain saying like, you know what, this substance that you're giving me often, it's not enough anymore. I want more. And when that happens, guess what? That ice cream that used to satisfy you and make you really happy now went from being a cup of ice cream to being a pint of ice cream, because the pint is now giving you way more dopamine. So now you can get that high again. So this is what we call tolerance, pretty much. Like you develop a tolerance, and now you need more to make you more happy, if that makes sense. And it's like you said, it's all about a detox. Just like somebody who unfortunately could have a drug addiction has to go through a rehab and detox and kind of get that substance flush out of the system. It's the same thing with sugar. And I feel like I myself went through it when I initially started keto before I met you, Marta. Like I remember the first couple of weeks, the first month itself, I was just like, oh my God, like I want bread, I want fries, I want potatoes. And like, it was a constant thought of craving. Craving that's another huge word. That's another big key on when you're addicted to something. Having cravings of that same thing over and over on a daily basis tells you like you have probably an addiction to this particular substance.
Yeah.
So
you see food anxiety, and when you try not to eat it, people get anxious.
Absolutely.
And it's like they get to a place that they have to have it. They have to have it. That's where the addiction comes in. Yeah.
Yeah. So like in my case, for example, I'm just gonna give you the sample of soda. To me, it's all about finding your meaning and your purpose, if that makes sense. Find something that motivates you and that is stronger than that particular food that you're addicted to. Mm-hmm. So many years ago, I had a soda issue. I was drinking soda on a daily basis. I'll probably have maybe 3 to 4 cans of like either Coke or Sprite or whatever. It didn't matter what brand or flavor, it was soda, I drank it. And as a Catholic person, we celebrate Lent every spring. And for Lent, we give up something for 40 days. And that particular year, I said, you know what? I'm giving up soda for 40 days. And let me tell you, was it hard? Oh my God. Like, there were days I was like, oh my God, like just one soda, like God would not be mad at me. And then I would think about the bigger purpose, like, wow, he walked for these many days with the cross on his shoulder, and he was able to do that. Why can I not drink soda for like 40 days? Like that's all I'm, to me, the purpose was I couldn't violate my promise to God at that point in time. Mm-hmm. That was my biggest purpose.
Yeah.
And best thing ever happened by the end of those 40 days. I was ready. Like I kept looking forward, like that very last week, I kept looking forward to like, oh my God, it's about to be over. I could have my soda. That was the thought process. But like at the very end, that last week, that wouldn't even come to my head. Like when the 40 days ended, I didn't even crave soda. I didn't want it. I didn't even drink this. So like now you may catch me drinking a soda once every 3 months, if anything, because it's there, and maybe having like a slice of pizza, and it's nice to combine it with soda sometimes. But like even so, I try to find healthier alternative. Like I'll have maybe like a carbonated water that has like that hint of flavor, but it doesn't necessarily have the amount of sugar that soda has, if that makes sense. So
it's like you need it, you want it, you had to have it. It was like a survival thing.
Correct. Yeah.
And what I tell my clients is, man, let me tell you, if you give yourself a chance, it's like if you give yourself a chance to break through these things, to stand firm, to focus on the journey and why you're doing this. And we talk about the whys here all the time.
Yes.
Why? You had made that commitment to God, and that right there like anchored you down to continue forward. We talk about the whys here because we need that anchor, and keep in the forefront of people's minds of why they invested in themselves to get into this journey. But if you give yourself time, like honestly, 3 weeks metabolic programming, you can, your body will change. Like it will require other things, it brings a different awareness. Like I'm sure now after that happened, you're like, oh my gosh, like now you realize how much you depended on that soda, right?
Yep. Not only that, like aside from realizing that like my dependence on it and like how addicted I was to it, by the end, I also realized how powerful I could be myself and how I could actually do things that I put myself to. And I think it comes back to finding my purpose, finding my why. Like when I started with you, and I mentioned this in the last segment we did together, is my why was being able to do the things that I like without feeling uncomfortable, like sitting in the plane and traveling without feeling like I don't fit in the seat, or the seatbelt is too tight, type of thing, you know? Um, so I'll definitely say, like, give yourself a chance and find yourself a purpose. And for sure, you know, it sounds hard, and it is hard to quit cold turkey, but like just give yourself those 3 weeks, that 1 month, just push for that 1 month, and you'll see that by the end of it, you would just be a whole new person. You're no longer gonna crave that soda, that ice cream, that donut, that junk food as much as you did back in the days.
It can be broken. It doesn't matter if it's, you know, I'm not a sweet person. If you ask me, I'm a salty, crunchy person. Give me a bag of chips before you give me ice cream. That's who I am. You know, that's another thing we hear all the time is like, when you start eating these chips, you know, you can't stop. And it's true.
Yeah.
Also, there's many fast food places that actually sprinkle sugar in their French fries because of the addictive effect of sugar. It makes them want to keep eating, and you know, and we do, and that's the problem. You know, I gotta tell you, probably the number one, I would say 9 out of 10 people that come here and start their journey. This is a whole different topic, but I'm not gonna get into it too deeply. But is every single person asks me, can I drink on this plan? Every single I mean, when I tell you 9 out of 10, can I drink alcohol?
I think I was one of those.
Listen, in med school, you probably definitely were one of those.
Like, I need my wine.
Wine. And guess what wine is?
Pure sugar.
Pure sugar.
Absolutely.
Pure wine, the worst. I tell people, if you're gonna drink alcohol, just go hard. Take a tequila shot. That's better for you.
Right?
Calories. That, you know, just go hard. But
that's so true.
It's not just sugar, it's not just carbs. It's, you know, alcohol is a big thing. And I think we're gonna do another video on alcohol because it is huge. There's a dependency on alcohol to survive life.
Yeah, it's that idea of like, oh, it'll relax me and it'll make me have more fun, you know, like, but we definitely should have more like another talk about this, because you know, there's definitely other alternatives to be more relaxed, to having fun without having to have the alcohol, for sure.
Yeah, and it's past the social thing.
There's
a dependency, like a life dependency on it.
Absolutely.
You know? So we'll talk about that later on, but so solutions for food addiction.
So for solutions, honestly, I mean, you first have to recognize what's going on, what you know, what the addiction is, and you have to be able to avoid that trigger. You know, like, this is the number one thing that articles that I have been reading about this say: you have to avoid the trigger, whether it is, you know, if you like donuts and you go to Dunkin' Donuts on a daily, maybe pick up another route that won't have I mean, it's hard because there's Dunkin' Donuts in every corner, but if you know the one Dunkin' Donut that you pass every morning on your way to work, go pick up another route that doesn't pass by that Dunkin' Donut. Maybe, hopefully, you won't pick up another Dunkin' Donut on the way, but find ways to avoid the trigger, if that makes sense.
You know, now you mentioned Dunkin' Donuts, Frappuccinos at Starbucks. It's not even, it doesn't even have to be solid food. It doesn't even have to be solid food. It's like, you know how many people stop at Starbucks and buy these flavored lattes? Do you have any idea how much sugar and calories?
Oh my God, Marta. Guilty.
Yeah, I agree. You know, and for some it will be easier than others. You know, I think, you know, having, of course, the awareness. You know, 5 spoons of sugar in your, you know, 8 ounces of coffee is probably not a good idea, which is what I used to do.
Especially if you're drinking 2 or 3 coffees a day.
Yes, and now I gave myself a chance, and now I hardly take any sugar in my coffee. You know, so having that awareness, also finding help, because you know, not everybody can do it on their own, especially if it's a cultural thing. You know, I'm Cuban. You know, they've been feeding rice into me like before I was even born. It's the truth. You know, finding help detoxing, alternatives, like you said.
Alternative is huge.
Just don't buy it. Don't have it at home.
Yeah, that's, you know, that's my number one rule. And I always tell my fiance that I was like, if I don't buy it, it's not making it into my mouth. So let's just, and for some reason, and I'm sure, I mean, it's not the same for everyone, unfortunately, but like when I'm in the grocery store, I have the willpower not to buy it. Especially when you look at those prices, one pack of Oreo, $5, $6, $7 for the pack of Oreo. Like, I'd rather save, you know, buy something else that is probably healthier, because the same or even less, I can get multiple nutritious meals out of it, good satisfaction out of it, and still save money while at it that I could use for something else, like a vacation or something. So like, if you don't buy it, it doesn't make it to your house, you don't end up eating it. For some reason, you know, I had that willpower not to buy it, but I know it could be hard for people, but think of that stuff when you're looking at the prices. Maybe that'll help you be like, you know what, I can afford $7 worth of cookies right now. Like,
right. I have to say, you know, back in the day, that was a true issue. I think, you know, the accessibility to healthier foods. I think nowadays, you know, you got the Aldi's of the world, you got Publix that is actually,
absolutely,
they're coming out with a new supermarket called Greenwise.
Yes, there's one in Fort Lauderdale right now.
Is there? I'll have to go.
Yeah, in Las Olas.
Oh, I have to go check it out. You know, there's Walmart that has aisles of all healthy things too. You know, so finding those alternatives. I think a major thing is the support and accountability. You know, if anybody here is watching this and you're like, man, that's me. I put 5 teaspoons in my coffee. I go to Starbucks 3 times a day. I drink 5 sodas a day. I'm the one that has those chips in my, you know, on my lap at 10 o'clock at night, and I'm going at it, you know. You know, it's funny because I know somebody that has an addiction to nuts, and nuts is supposed to be healthy, but everything in moderation, including moderation,
correct,
is huge in fat.
Correct.
So anyways, if that's you, if you're sitting here watching, you're like, this is me and I need help, you know, detoxing, and
that helped me.
I need to lose weight. I need somebody to help me through it, walk me through it. That's what we do here at Inspire Weight Loss. We have hundreds of people, hundreds and hundreds of people that have come through the program. That's what we do the first week, you know. And then we have people that come that have super healthy habits, but they need that metabolic booster because they're doing all the right things, diet and exercising, and they still don't see the weight loss, you know. So but it's specifically if you have habits, and maybe it's not an addiction, maybe it's just a bad habit that you can't kick, we can help you with that here too. Because you know that
I remember hitting you up, Marta, like probably 3 times a day during my first week with you. Be like, Marta, can I buy this? Marta, is this ingredient good? Like, you gave me the power to, even as a medical student, mind you, as a medical student, we don't really learn much about nutrition itself. We get maybe in 4 years of medical school, I got maybe like 2 1-hour lectures on nutrition, and that was it. So all I know about nutrition is because I either self-taught myself or Marta taught me. Just know that like you have given me the power to really fully understand how to read a label and what's in that particular food container. You know what I'm saying? Like what are good ingredients versus not that are going to help me be healthy versus gaining weight, you know, because they have all these fancy chemical, beautiful scientific names that really translate to sugar and carbohydrates. And if you don't know what these names are,
crap. It translates to inflammation.
Absolutely.
All these processed foods. And that's another segment that I want to do is on reading labels and all that, you know, because there's a lot of deception out there, tons of deception, you know, where everything is cauliflower, you know, it's like cauliflower crust, but then you read
the cornstarch next to it.
Cornstarch, it has vegan cheese. Now, what does vegan cheese really, what is it really made out of? Beyond Burgers, Impossible Burger, you know, it could be super controversial, but it's definitely something that we need to talk about.
Absolutely.
Lorena, thank you so much for being here, sharing your wisdom. You know, all we want to do here is educate and help inspire
Absolutely.
people.
Absolutely.
You know, inspire people, help people, support people. People like you and I, we're just like your average person that deals with all of this.
Yeah. And don't be fooled. We struggle too. Like it's not like we learned this and we were perfect from day to night and so on. No, no, no. Like we had our moments that we had our cheat meals and things like that. That you know. So don't think we're perfect, but it's a learning process, a learning curve. And like Marta said, like as long as you got a support system, and for me, it was my Inspire family. That was always there when I needed them and like always gave me that extra push and motivation and always reminded me of my why. Like I share my whys with Marta and she would remind me of that. So, you know, like having that support will definitely take it a long way and will like help you overcome those obstacles that you encountered throughout the process.
Thank you, Lorena. And you know what? For us here at Inspire, we hope that our clients will learn how to manage themselves so then it can be sustainable long term.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what and that's what we aspire to do, man. You know, it's not just like, okay, come lose 20 pounds and, you know, it was nice meeting you, goodbye. You know, and then you go back to real, you know, go back to life and now you gained it all back. No, we want our clients to learn, to manage, to be aware and to manage so they can keep it off, you know, for long term. And that's our desire. Lorena, thank you. Can't wait to do that.
Thank you for having me here.
Keep it up, okay?
Thank you. I appreciate it. I will, promise.
Yes, I know. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.